people that have wronged me in the past. They can't go out their fucking own front door without looking over their shoulder in their tiny little towns. The next thing I know, whoop, one of them's hit me with a wheel brace, and then I've turned around and started bashing him up. I've had a meat cleaver put in my forehead, like that, so I started bashing him up, but then I got stabbed up like the week before. I could go to Liverpool, Manchester, London, Dublin, and I'd know and get shown love off all the white people.
Hi guys and welcome back to KRN-TV. We'll bring you the most exciting interviews from around the world. Today, delighted to be at Lab 99 Gym in Petersfield with unbeaten bare knuckle boxing star Darren Dazzler Hendry. Darren, how you doing, mate?
All good, thank you.
So you guys might have seen him on the channel before. We did a short video a couple of months ago. Well, I suppose 11,000 of you have seen that, but it wasn't the greatest quality, so we thought we'd come back down and do a more in-depth interview with the right sort of trailer and the right sort of quality of it. So, Darren, let's get into it. So, Darren, talk to me a little bit about where you're from and your childhood. And
yeah, I'm from the southeast of England. Fairly normal childhood. Got an older brother who's very different to me. He's into like music and stuff like that. Parents separated when I was quite young, probably 6, 7 years old. Got into boxing from quite a young age. My old man was a boxer. Yeah, got into boxing from quite a young age. Had a couple of junior fights. Didn't do too well as a junior. Not that I weren't good, but I used to let my head get the better of me before I got in there, you know. But I was always in and around the boxing gyms and stuff like that. Weren't really a bad kid per se. As it went till I was about 14, 15, that I truly become a naughty little fucker. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, so what about first arrest? Was it around that sort of age, 14, 15 then?
Yeah, I think what's the age you can get arrested for? I think it's 12. So I must have been about 13, stealing, well, handling stolen goods for half-inching CDs out of HMV in Guildford, amongst other stuff. And I remember I cried my fucking eyes out. It was not so much the getting nicked, it was what my old dear would think, you know. And it was a slippery slope from then onwards, you know.
Yeah, so what about schooling? Did you finish school in GCSEs and that?
I think I did finish school, but like, as I say, I wasn't a divvy. I was quite intelligent, but like I say, when I got to about 14, 15, I just really stopped giving a fuck. I just did not care, and just, you know what I mean, I was too busy. I'd go sign in the morning, then go down Tesco's for a breakfast with all the lads, also, you know, too busy, you know what I mean, being a little fucker.
So what were you up to then when you left school then? So what did you get into working straight away on a building
Selling
site?
drugs? No, just being a little shit, basically. I've done little bits of labouring and hod carrying and stuff. I enjoyed hod carrying because it keeps you fit and it keeps you strong and stuff like that. But a 9 to 5 was never really in my plans, you know.
And so what about the fighting then? So when did you start taking that seriously? Because I know you've got quite in-depth, you've got loads of stuff, you've done loads of boxing, loads of kickboxing and a bit of MMA before the bare knuckle stuff happened. So talk to me about...
Well, as I say, I first went up the boxing gym, I think I was about 7 or 8. But I'd go for a few weeks, then fuck about for a couple of months, and then go back and stuff like that. So I had a couple of junior bouts, and then I'd also do a bit of kickboxing, you know, Muay Thai, Thai boxing. Then I didn't really get back into it seriously. I'll tell you what happened. So I went on a lad's holiday to Malia. That's quite a funny story actually, but I'll go back to that. So I went to Malia and they were doing like cage fighting, MMA out there, and I thought, oh, I'll have some of that. But at the time, I had fucking loads of stitches in my head where I'd had a row like a couple of days before I went out there. I got fucking set about with a meat cleaver and wheel braces and things like that. And when Can
you talk to us about what, sorry to interrupt you, what led you to being attacked with to get stitches in your head?
I was at a rave, you know, like one of these all-night fucking warehouse, you know, illegal parties. And I chinned some geezer earlier on in the night. And I see, I'm very spatially aware. If you look, like when I go in a restaurant, I've always got my back facing the wall, looking out towards the door. And I saw a couple of geezers giving me a bit of a dodgy eye. And next thing I know, whoop, one of them's hit me with a wheel brace. And then I've turned around and started bashing him up. I've had a meat cleaver put in my forehead, like that, so I started bashing him up. And then I had a third person hit me from the other side. So I was fighting with all 3 of them, but because I was at an illegal rave, I may or may not have took some, you know, some substances. You know, this was years ago. I must have been about 19, 20. So I couldn't feel nothing, and I was just kicking the fuck out of them, going, you can't hurt me, you can't hurt me. I must have looked like a right nutter. Claret coming down, obviously I was sort of like, eventually, and because it was in the middle of nowhere, the ambulance, someone rang the ambulance, I was going up to all these people who are all off their fucking nuts, didn't know what day of the week it is. I'm going, look, oh man, you got red paint coming out your head, man. No one could take me to the fucking hospital. Eventually the ambulance did find the place, but the hospital were like, whatever you do, you can't fly for a couple of months because of the pressure or whatever. But yeah, 2 days later I was on the plane at Malia. I was supposed to go for 2 weeks, I ended up staying there for like 2 months. Because at the time, I think I was just knocking out a bit of gear, so, allegedly, knocking out a bit of gear, so I didn't have nothing to come back, didn't have a bird or nothing. So I was just, out at Malia, and they were doing this MMA thing out there, and I was training with the lads out there, but they wouldn't let me fight because obviously I had loads of these stitches in my head. But then when I came back to the UK, I got an MMA fight booked in down in Portsmouth. I'd never done any of the jiu-jitsu, none of the grand stuff. But I was a spunky young lad, confident in my own abilities. Went in there, he's come out, he was only a pudding I think, but he's come out and I'm just boom, just started throwing shots at him. He took me to the ground, I was like a fish out of water, but I got him in the guillotine thing that I'd seen on the UFC, managed to choke him out in about 53 seconds, and that was sort of like my MMA career. And then I'd flick, I'd always in and out of the gyms, I was always doing little bits, training wise. Then I got.
So there's that little dip in the MMA. Why did you not decide to actually jump back a bit more into that and like get into that?
This is no disrespect to MMA fighters. Obviously, it's a very tough sport, but I like striking. I love standing up toe to toe and having a fucking proper fight. I think the only person you should be rolling about with bare chested, sweaty, is a bird. Is a woman. It's not another geezer sweating on top. Is not really my. I get claustrophobic, probably because I'm shit at it, but it's not really my thing, the MMA.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. So so after you had this MMA fight, then where did you go from then? Did you decide to go fuck it, boxing, back into boxing?
No, and then I got in a little bit of trouble with the old Bill, and I had to go on my toes, and I went out to the Canary Islands, Lanzarote, and done a little bit of training out there. Had a couple of Mickey Mouse kickboxing fights and stuff like that, but I was training with some good lads out there. And then that's when I first started doing the doors, only like little disco bars, you know what I mean, like little nightclub things and disco bars. And and then I was out there for 2 or 3 years till it all calmed down. I decided to come back to England, and I was down the Brighton, Worthing area, and started running a couple of doors. Because I'd been out there for a couple of years, I managed to have, a couple of years clean record, done me SIA door badge. Come back, started running a couple of doors down in Brighton and Worthing. Then it eventually all went a bit peak-tongue down there, and I moved back up this sort of area. And I got back into the amateur boxing as a senior, and I boxed for Aldershot ABC, which was a brand new club. I was the first boy to box for that club. Then I think I had 5 or 6 bouts for them. Then went over to Guildford City, which is a very established gym. Boxed there, done a lot. I was unbeaten as a senior boxer, and I was having a couple of unlicensed fights in between, which is a bit naughty. You're not supposed to do that, but it was just more for like keeping myself active. It's so hard I was boxing at heavyweight or super heavyweight. It was very hard to get belts. But I won the Southern area. I also won the Haringey Box Cup gold medalist at heavyweight, and won the Southern area. And then when you win the Southern area in the ABAs, you go through to, I think it's the semis or the quarters of the ABAs. And so I got through to the semis or whatever it was, but then I got stabbed up like the week before. So I got cut up, and they had to pull me from the fight, and I was like, oh fuck it, I still fight, even though I'm covered in stitches and that. But obviously that ruined my chances of getting in the ABAs.
So when you won the Haringey Cup, did you have any promoters approach you or anything like that?
I had a couple, yeah. I was sat talking to a couple about what I should do, because I really respect amateur boxing. I think it's brilliant. It's the fundamentals. However, I was 28, 29, and you want to start earning a few quid for getting your brains punched in, didn't you? Really, than a little plastic trophy. And then unfortunately, I went to prison in 2018, I think. Not for very long, just on remand and then a bus case, but I was in there for about 5 or 6 months, and then my friend put on a bare knuckle show. And because obviously I've been about a bit, and obviously with my boxing background, I thought I'd all something I'd want to tick off the bucket list, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, the geezer I fought, he's a bit of a pudding really, but at the time, you know, he tattoos all over his boat. He was telling everyone that listen, he was the unbeaten bare knuckle champion of the world, but I managed to made a mess of him in about 8 seconds, and yeah, so that was my first one out of the way. Then a few weeks later, I had another one in Camberley against another geezer who'd had about 20 bare knuckle fights, but he was, I think, his 2 punches, boom, boom, and he was knocked out. And then the BKB, which is probably the biggest promotion in the world, they said, your fan's coming on board with us. And I was like, yeah, brilliant. The first fight I was supposed to have was in the September of 2019, but the geezer I was supposed to fight, he broke his hand with some extracurricular activities, I think, or like the day before the fight or some shit like that. So he got pulled out, and then they rearranged it for the November, and I fought in November against a very experienced lad. I think he'd had about 200 fights all in with, you know, MMA and kickboxing, boxing, whatever, and a fair few bare knuckles, but I stopped him in the second round. So, and then I was supposed to fight in April of last year, but I got stabbed up quite severely in the March, so, but the show did get cancelled anyway, but I couldn't have fought on that even if I wanted to.
So loads of stuff there. So obviously when you got into the BKB, obviously you took to it like duck to water. Like, what was it that made you take to it so much and enjoy it so much?
I don't know, I think with a lot of glove boxers, they live quite sheltered lifestyles. A lot of them, not all, you do get the odds that are, you know, out and about, but they're in the gyms from a young age. They haven't experienced life outside. Whereas me, I was doing both. I was in the gyms, but I was also punching people up outside and being a little fucker. And I think with bare knuckle, you see a lot of pro glove boxers come over to the bare knuckle, and people think, oh, he's a Southern Area champion or he's an ex-unbeaten pro. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a good bare knuckle fighter, you know. It is 2 very different sports. Obviously the fundamentals are there, but I just think with bare knuckle you need a little bit something extra inside you. You need to be a bit fucking tapped in the head to do it in the first place. But
and so obviously what you've taken to the BKB so well, would you go back to the boxing? Are you planning on doing it?
Well, I'll always take glove fights. I wouldn't turn over as a pro glove boxer. You know, I'm happy doing the bare knuckle, but I'll take unlicensed fights as and when they come, you know, just to keep me ticking over or whatever. Because I do love the sport of boxing.
And so, obviously I interviewed Dougie Joyce a couple of months ago, and he does, you know, the Travellers, they do the bare knuckle, unlicensed stuff for money and that. Is that something you consider doing or you would do outside of? Of
course, I mean, I have had a few bare knuckle straighteners for money and stuff like that, you know, outside, but I can't really talk too much about them. But if the money's right, yeah, you know. Okay, but with what I've got going on with the BKB, there's no point in me pursuing that at the minute. You know, if someone offered you a good bit of money, of course you're going to do it, but why fuck up what I've got going with the BKB, if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, I agree with that. And so what about like going and fighting the Americans, getting into the BKB big time now and that? Would you consider going out there to fight?
To be honest, people think, oh, because it's America, it's all brilliant. But the BKB, the one I'm on, the one in London, it's a better promotion. It's a lot bigger and better. It's just people think, oh, America, because it's got the glitz and the glamour attached to the name. But the actual bare knuckle boxing, the one I'm on, is actually better. It's better quality of fighters as well.
And so, who's the champion in your weight then, Darren? So
to be honest, I don't actually have a clue who the champion. I don't really follow. I know it sounds really bad, but I don't follow it too much because I don't need to know how good other people are. All I care about is what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so, what weight are you going to be? What weight have you been fighting at previously, and what weight are you planning?
Last fight, I weighed in at 88, but the fight was at 88, but I weighed in at 86.2. So I'm going to try. You know, you want to play to your advantages, so I want to fight ideally around 86. But I walk around quite heavy, even though I don't look. I'm only 6'1", but I walk around like best part of 16 stone most of the time. I carry a lot of muscle, you know, which is good if you're a bodybuilder, but not if you're a boxer.
And so you say you don't really know who the champion is, but is there anyone in your sort of weight class that you've got, or around your weight class that you've got eyes on, who's got a bit?
Well, I'll fight whoever, you know, but I'm not. It's the promoters to sort the fights out, not me, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so talk to us a little bit about your training team then. Obviously we're down here at Lab 99. Who's talk to us about your coaching team and who you've got working with you, helping you, obviously.
I've always got a very good. I've always been quite fortunate in the respect that I've always had decent coaches around me. You know, part of my condition at the minute, I can't stay where my house is, so I'm down in Hampshire at the minute. And it's a very good gym, good setup down here at Lab 99. Got some. I can't really name too many names because I don't think they want to be associated with the bare knuckle. But we've got a lot of champions, glove champions and pro boxers and stuff like that. A very good stable down here. So yeah, I've got a good positive team around me, you know.
Okay, nice. And so talk to me about how seriously you take this BKB and your training and stuff like this. You look at it as you trained. Are you a professional?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I do live that Spartan lifestyle. I mean, I'm up at. Well, I'm on tag, you know, but the earliest I can leave the house is 6, and straight away at 6 o'clock I'm outdoors. I'm outside hitting the pavements, running. Doing my strength work, training at least twice a day, 5-6 days a week, you know. Sometimes more, sometimes 3 times a day. Nice.
And so talk to us, when's your next fight then? When's the next BKB fight?
The next fight is in July the 3rd. And hopefully I'll be on that, but obviously I need a letter for the courts to allow them to give me grant for a leave for one night only, you know. So I can get out, box and come home.
Indeed. Well, look, fingers crossed you can get that. It's very big and legit show, so hopefully you'll be able to get that off, you know. So there's a couple other things you touched on earlier. You've been stabbed a couple of times, you mentioned. Should you talk to us about what the circumstances...
I have won a couple as well.
What was it, stabbing? So talk to us about the circumstance between you being stabbed then, like the first time or...
First time, it was me being like a knight in shining armour, really, for some fucking nutty bird. See, some geezer was clumping his missus or something like that, and she was like, "Oh, help me, Darren, he's here kicking off." So I run round, give the geezer a couple of digs, and you know, I'm not really a liberty taker, so he's on the floor, and I wasn't going to start booting him out. He's like, "Oh, help me up," and as I sort of step back, he's plunged me once in the guts, and then a couple of times in the arm, in the back, I think, and he sort of run off up the road. I started trying to chase him, and then I was like, "Oh, fuck that, no, I need to get away." It was the first time I'd been stabbed by then, so it was a bit of a shock, you know. Ended up going to hospital, but I remember when it was, because it was when Anthony Joshua fought Carlos Takam. And I just sat down and watched the Anthony Joshua fight, and anyway, I got to the hospital, and they stitched me up, and they said, "Yeah, you're going to have to stay in for a couple of days or whatever whilst we observe you." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not fucking staying in, I've got to go back." Anthony Joshua's fighting Carlos Takam. It's just about to kick off. And I discharged myself from hospital, and when I watched the boxing. And then the second time, I don't even want to waste time talking about this one because he's a little fool. He is what you call a backhander, but a little fool with a knife coming from behind you with a knife is a dangerous one, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? People can't beat me with the rounds. That ain't me being flash or giving it the fucking big one. I've got 2 arms, 2 legs and a chin just the same as everyone else has. But people, they know they can't beat me in a straightener, so they will come more banded or, you know, use blades and stuff like that. And that was quite a bad one, but you know, chop my fucking head off. And all he is a little fool.
Okay, you don't want to talk about the person specifically, but was that to do with like Gangland stuff then?
No, it was. Oh, like I say, I can't discuss too much about it. I don't want to get the little prick in trouble, but it was just a feud, really. It was just a feud, and he was a deluded little rat. He's a deluded little rat, like, he'll go and tell people that he's the man and stuff like that, and he isn't. I'll just say, "Well, come and fight me then. Just like a man, put your hands up, come and fight me." But he ain't got the arsehole to do that, has he? You know.
So hopefully you can start wearing a vest in future then to avoid any more situations like that.
Well, it's funny you should say that because the first time I got stabbed, my mate asked to borrow my bulletproof vest. So I lent it to him. He had a problem with a little Turkish mob. And then I've lent him my vest. The next day is when I got stabbed up. How's your luck?
Don't be lending your vest out.
No, exactly, yeah.
And so you mentioned obviously you got a tag on your leg, you've just come out of jail. Can we talk about obviously what led you to go into prison, how long you were in prison and which prison you were in? And...
I was in Highdown when I get lifted, June the 20, like end of June of last year. I was in Highdown for...
Real quickly, is that your first time in jail?
No, second. Okay. Well, I've done a little bit in Spain as well. Yeah. Not too long though. And I was in Highdown and then Wandsworth for a couple of months. But that is, you know, I've got nothing to prove by. Obviously, it's an ongoing case. I've got to be very careful what I say, but I've got nothing to prove by bullshitting you. But I didn't do fuck all wrong. I literally done nothing wrong. I was collecting the debt of some little fucking turd, some little prick, and not only could he not honour his debts, he couldn't come and meet me like a man. So he decided to fuck up my life, try and fuck me over in other ways. So he rang up a person that I was really close to and cared a lot about, told this person that I was a lunatic, I killed people for money and stuff like that. Some of it half-truths, the majority of it bullshit. This person's freaked right out, called the old Bill, who've done what the old Bill do best. There was one bent copper who's made it his mission to go above and beyond to try and get me. They can't get me on anything big because I'm not an active criminal. So what they'll do, they'll try and get me on silly little things. You know, and that's exactly what's happened. And he's told this person a load of fucking bullshit to make me out to be, you know, a cross between Al Capone and fucking Ted Bundy, you know.
And
they say that there's no such thing as bent coppers. There fucking is, mate. The police, the establishment in this country is a fucking joke, mate, especially towards men, I think. And
so talk to me about how you found prison then. How was it there? Any trouble in there?
For lads like me, obviously, you know, I'm 6'1", 160, and I can, you know, look after myself and have a row. It ain't no trouble. But the thing is, this time when I was there a couple of years ago, you know, I was working in the kitchens and I was out all the time, just going to the gym every day training. This time it was COVID, so you was banged up in your cell 23.5 hours a day. You wouldn't treat a dog like that. You know, it was fucking murder. It really was a load of shit. It went hard. This is boring as fuck. Someone like me, I can't sit still for 2 minutes. I've fucking got something wrong with me, I think. And being in your cell 23.5 hours a day, but I suppose that's and it made me bitter because say if I'd have clumped someone or been caught with a bit of work or something, I'd done a blag, I could justify sitting in there. But because I didn't and I genuinely didn't do fuck all wrong, it was sort of like, I'm here for no fucking reason, you know? But I think I slapped up a couple of rude boys now and again, but it wasn't really like that. There was one funny story. When I first went to Wandsworth, normally I got a single cell, I'm high risk, I got a single cell, but they put some mad Irish geezer in there. And because I'd come from another nick, I had all my protein powders, my peanut butter, me items, me luxuries and shit like that I bought in the canteen. And I woke up one morning, the first night he's there, I said, "Oi, Paddy, where's all my fucking stuff gone?" And he's like, "Let me speak to my twin brother. I asked my twin brother where he's put it." I said, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's only me in the cell, you divvy cunt." Like that. He's like, "I know, but sometimes my brother plays tricks on me." I said, "Well, ask your brother very nicely to bring it back, or I'm going to fucking blame you." Next thing I know, a screws walked past, and I said, "Oh, is there some stuff in that bin out there?" And the screw went, yeah. And bang, he got a backhand and I kicked him up the arse and got him out of the cell. Fucking don't need. Imagine if he'd cut me throat in my sleep. It wasn't me, it was me twin brother. You know what I mean? Fuck off.
Well, hopefully you don't end up going back there.
No, I'm not.
Then. No. And the fact that they've let you out, obviously with the tag on, is obviously a good sign. Obviously, it shows that they ain't got much on you or anything.
Well, it's a Mickey Mouse fucking thing anyway. And it's just.
So when's the court case? When are you hoping to get the tag off then?
Well, November.
Wow.
It's a long time, all summer with it. It's not.
Better out here than in there.
Exactly. I mean, I don't. People think I'd live this wild, rebellious lifestyle. And to be honest, I don't. You know, I go gym, earn me a bit of money, go gym, and that's it. You know, I don't have a bird or nothing like that. I just, you know what I mean, because I'm just not interested. I'm so focused on bettering myself and getting to the top that everything else is just a distraction. You know.
Indeed. So. Let's touch on sort of the Underworld sort of stuff. I know there's obviously been rumours, obviously you've been involved in the Underworld and stuff like this. Do you want to touch on it? There's obviously been rumours that you've been involved in sort of enforcement sort of work. What can you talk about?
Obviously I've got to be very careful what I say. It all started when I was, you know, knocking people out as a nipper, you know, 17, 18, started to get a little bit. I was always very game. You know, there could be 30 lads, I'd steam straight in, even if it was on my own. And I think that started getting attention of the local villains, so to speak. And it would come to Darren, go and pick this bit of money up, or give someone a slap, or go and blow his car up, or something like that. And it just graduated onto heavier and more nastier stuff, allegedly. you know, and it was easy to make a few quid doing it. You know?
So you have been involved in their sort of debt collection side of...
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about that at all?
Well, it's good when people pay. It's not when they don't. And you don't want to be seen... But everything... You're going back to this enforcer thing. 9 times out of 10, it's not like you're going to knocking on an old lady's door stealing her bread and milk money. No, 9 times out of 10, these are lads that have been fleeced off a job, builders that have been fleeced off a job when they've done the work, or drug dealers or things like that. These are normally unsavoury characters anyway, and it's always a legitimate... Oh, Darren, he goes, you know, he's been a bit of... He's been a wrong one, give him a backhander or something, you know. Earn yourself 500 quid, give him, break his jaw or whatever, you know, and it's stemmed from things like that.
Yeah, you ever met your match when you've gone round to give someone a slap on one of these jobs?
No, not really. 9 times out of 10 people pay. Or, like that little cunt, although right, silly, we live in a social media age now, don't we? All I get is fucking idiots on social media they've got no chance of coming to see you face to face. If I don't like someone, I ain't going to sit there mugging them off on social media. I'll come straight to your fucking house. Look, I respect someone more if they look me straight in the eyes and call me a mother's cunt. I'd much rather respect someone if they've done that. But I'll get someone who'll call you a wanker on Facebook, and that's all I ever get, you know.
So, can you talk to us about an instant where someone's windows got shot through?
Yeah. Well, someone ended up with his windows missing, didn't he? In his car and his van. His windows missing. And I got raided fucking the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, when I had a young lady with me, and the fucking the armed police come bursting through the fucking door. Hands up, hands up, hands up! Fucking, you know, start bullet naked, me cock and fucking fake titties flying everywhere and stuff. I let the poor girl put some fucking clothes on. They took me to Basingstoke Nick, arrested me with intent to endanger life, criminal damage, discharge of a firearm, but a bus case because it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? It's the amount of shit that's alleged about me. If half the shit that went round about me was true, I'd be nutted off in fucking Broadmoor for the rest of my life, wouldn't I? But I'm walking about as free as a bird because that's all it is. It's rumours, you know.
So you've been arrested for murders before.
Yeah.
You can talk to us about
1 murder, 1 manslaughter, and like I say, it's all allegedly done these things. Or it wasn't that I was suspected of it. I was suspected of involvement in it, and yeah. But that's all I can really say about that.
And in terms of the Underworld stuff, what about sort of the Underworld kidnappings? Is there anything you would draw the line at? I'm not talking about obviously doing it. Say a villain wanted someone grabbed in that, would you?
No, I'm a pillar of the community now. Oh no, it's been
in the past then.
Yes, it's been alleged that I've done so. Anything involving women or children, no. But it's been alleged I've done some questionable things. You know, either I have or I haven't. You know, it's all part and parcel. But it's a very touchy subject. But I have moved on from that, and I would like to put that on camera. I am now a decent person. I work every day, you know, I do a bit of personal training, you know, training fighters. I've got a respectable security company now, DJH Security, and I'm doing things. I'm still in the muscle business, still in the enforcer work, but I'm doing it in the right way now, you know?
Yeah, legit debts, not doing anything physical.
No.
You can go and collect legit debts.
Exactly.
That's about it. So,
I don't need to, like, without giving it the big one, like, I know people. Not that I'm a one-man band, I don't need a firm or an army or something like that, because I really don't fucking need them, you know. But most people, a lot of people that have wronged me in the past, they can't go out their fucking own front door without looking over their shoulder in their tiny little towns. They can't go out they can't go to family weddings or family funerals because I'm going to have eyes there. Whereas me, I could go to Liverpool, Manchester, London, Dublin, and I'd know and get shown love off all the right people, if that makes sense. You know, because I'm not a fucking div. I've got respect and that gets respect back, you know. You could drop me in the middle of Leeds, for example, and I would have contacts there.
So you talk about you've got contacts there. I know you're very well known up and down the country in the sort of criminal and underworld and stuff like this. How has this come around? How have you built up this reputation?
Do you know what I think it comes down to? Is because I'm not a fucking divvy. You know, I'm staunch, I keep my mouth shut. You know, everything I've ever done or alleged to have done, I can justify. You know, I can justify, and I think people, if you are a big mouth who fucking just causes trouble for the sake of it or whatever, everything I've ever done, I've done on my own. I've never, very rarely have I used a tool, and I get things done. You know, I'm not a bully. I'm just a bloody decent bloke.
So you're saying you're quite efficient in your work.
Yeah.
And your success gained you a certain reputation.
Yeah.
Far and wide.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, nice. So talk to me now about the goals for the next few years, Darren. Now, like in terms of obviously, let's talk about the fight and stuff first, then the BKB. What are your goals for the next 2-3 years, and where's Darren going to be and stuff? Are you going to be Britain's first superstar BKBs? I know there's been a couple of people come through, Sweetie and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Are you going to be the person who really takes it to that next level?
Who knows? All I can do is train hard and win. That's all I can do, and fucking spark out whoever they put in front of me. But I'm dedicated at the minute. I'm just dedicated. The next, I'm 31, 32 now. I'm not old, but I haven't got time to fuck about it neither. You know, I'm just dedicating the next few years to it, and not cutting no corners, just throwing my head into the gym, no distractions, and just see where it goes. Hopefully, you know, touch wood, I don't get fucking whacked or put back in prison for no fucking stupid reasons, and I can have a good crack at it, you know. I have been, the choices I've made have led to certain incidents in my life happening, but I have also been very unlucky with, certain aspects as well.
And so you mentioned to me before the interview, you've got a little gloved fight coming up soon. Where can people? Where is it?
It's in Swindon. It's on Tank Promotions. It's like a behind closed doors thing. But it'll be televised, I think, like pay-per-view.
Yeah. What date's that?
I think it's the 17th of May.
Okay, good. So guys, look out for that then, and then hopefully when's the BKB? Remind us when the BKB.
July the 3rd. But if you follow my Instagram, which is demon_fitness UK _Darren Hendry, all like me updates of fights and shit like that is on there. But I'm fucking useless with technology and stuff like that, so you'll have to bear with me. But, yeah.
And do you know who the opponents for both those are going to be yet?
Not as of yet, no.
And so what about the tank promotion one? Would that be, obviously that's a much smaller thing, would that be easy to get your tag taken off of that, or would that be a little bit more difficult?
All I can do is try. The courts could either say yes or no, but what I need are letters from the promoters to get the plan into action. There's no point them giving me a letter 2 days before the fight, and then I'm going to look like a shithouse having to pull out the fight because I can't risk my freedom going back to prison just because they haven't got the letter sent to the courts, because the courts could still disapprove it, can't they?
Yeah, of course. Well, maybe you can fight the first fight at like 4 o'clock or something like this and be back in time, something like this. So, you talked to me about you training real hard at the moment. Who are you sparring with and doing anything like this?
I've sparred with one of my very good pals, Reese Brudenell Bruiser. He's a heavyweight K1 fighter, an unlicensed glove fighter. He's a very tough, durable fucker. We have some proper wars. I spar with him most weeks. And I say I've got some good pro glove boxers that I move around with as well. You know, I'm very active. I'm always in the gym, always training.
And you mentioned this security business earlier. What sort of security is that?
We cover everything. You know, either it's just doors, pubs and nightclub doors, to residential security, surveillance. You know, cover all close protection. All of my employees. You know, they're not jacket fillers. They're all decent lads. They're all vetted and decent lads. You know, all SIA registered. Some of them are special ex-army and special forces and stuff like that. But yeah, look at our website www.djhsecurity.com, and yeah, anyone that's interested in security, you know, you're going to be looked after.
And what about the PT then that you mentioned earlier? Is it just for fighters, or would you do general people as well?
I train anyone really. You know, I enjoy that. It's sort of like my passion. You know, whereas the security stuff is work.
So the PTing, would it be all like sort of general fitness through fight training, or
No,
can you do any
it's a
sort
little
of
bit of
PT?
everything. I've noticed that I think I do, without sounding flash, I do have good genetics. Like when I don't lift weights, but when I do, I get in good shape easily, you know, and I'm sick of certain PTs telling people these things that, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, but I think it all depends on the individual. So I like to cater training sessions to the individuals, because all body types are different, you know.
Alright, so guys, and where's that? That's down here.
Yeah, Lab
training
99 in
people,
Petersfield.
But you can, or you do train to do other people, you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, so guys, reach out to him again. He mentions Insta earlier. Remind people again what that is.
Demon_fitness UK _Darren Hendry.
Alright, perfect. So, is there any topics that we haven't covered today, Darren, that you'd like to go over? A few things you'd like to mention, or?
No, I'd just like to thank the guys, Saf and Steve down at Lab 99, and my sponsors, which are WD Construction, a building company out of Aldershot, Box Smart, kitting me up with all nice fresh tracksuits and stuff like that, Silverback CBD oil for all my recovery and that, Makeup by SJ, which is a makeup artist from Aldershot, Band of Brothers Scaffolding from Aldershot, and Jab Signature Clothing as well.
Got me, you're doing alright with the sponsors.
Yeah.
So, alright.
They want to get on the winning team, don't they?
Of course. Well, alright, well, nice one for today, Darren. It's much appreciated letting us come down here, and we'll get this up. And then hopefully, just before your fight, we can come down, or just after, we'll come down and do a little bit more. And like I say, we want to follow your journey over the next few months and years.
No problem.
Thank you very much, mate.
Take care.